doctor. Talk to your doctor.
Talk to your doctor. Ask your doctor.
Just talk to your doctor.
Every night on TV, you see a weird-ass drug commercial trying to get you hooked on some legal shit. And they just keep naming symptoms till they get one that you fucking got, okay? It's like, are you sad? Are you lonely? You got athlete's foot? Are you hot? Are you cold? What you got? You want this pill, huh, motherfucker? You got to take this.
Drug abuse is killing more people in this country than car wrecks.
Legal drugs, the kinds that doctors give us. You know, the kindly old doctor that used to be by your bedside when you had the mumps and gave you all your flu shots? The good guy, the one looking out for our health.
Prosecutors say you didn't need an appointment. All you had to do was send the doctor a text message and open your wallet.
But these days, the doctors are starting to look more like drug dealers.
Come in and fill out their prescriptions once a month, and the doctors keep them sick. Well, you do the math. 1,000 times 500 is $500,000 a month. That's $6 million a year. These doctors are profiting by keeping you sick.
I think a whole generation of doctors grew up really not recognizing how dangerous these drugs are. I can tell you that when I went to medical school, we had one lecture on pain. And in that one lecture, we were told, if a patient has pain and you give them an opiate, they will not get addicted. Totally wrong. And yet, that's what I learned when I became a doctor, and that's what a whole generation of doctors learned.
The fact that you can present a problem to an audience as big as a TV audience and say, ask your doctor if such and such is right for you. Wow, I'll ask my doctor. So I go to my doctor. Lo and behold, because the rep from the company was just there with a truckload of samples, he goes, well, gee, let's see. He opens up the drawer, gives the person like a month's worth of samples, just they're free, and then there goes the prescription writing, and then that's it for forever.
So I get it. You give them the first taste for free, and then they're hooked.
Now we got a patient population that we can sell our next drug to.
Every time I take something, I always feel weird. And then somebody will say, a doctor will say, well, for the weirdness you're feeling by taking something, take something else. And the next thing you know, I'm taking 9 things.
Okay, you're going to wind up like Anna Nicole Smith.
Like, there was a point in time when I had my hip surgery, I just got so conditioned to, like, taking a pill that when the next thing came up, like, oh, these painkillers are causing me anxiety, so then I need the Xanax, and then, you know, I can't sleep, so you need the Ambien.
Right.
And you can't focus, so you need the Adderall. And then, like, I had, like, probably 10 prescription bottles, you know, in my cabinet.
That's causing this problem, so take this, and that's causing this problem, so take this, and then before you know it, you do have 10 prescription bottles on your, because of one problem. Why take it if you don't need it?
But that's not the way the world works, okay? You actually have to be a human being and feel your feelings. If your brother dies, okay, you can expect to feel sad.
Feeling your feelings is hard, but lucky for us, Big Pharma has a solution. Psych meds. Finally, we have the perfect pill that promises to take away all of our bad feelings and replace them with sunshine and little happy trees.
With all these scenes of trees and green grass and convertible cars and pillow clouds in the sky, if life is like that when you're on the purple pill, give me some purple pills.
In 2001, the first Zoloft ads hit the airwaves, and we finally discovered that we were suffering from depression. America had a sickness, and depression was its name. Suddenly, the market was flooded with a tsunami of new psych meds. Now, 1 in every 10 Americans.
A huge change in the nature of what people think of as being illnesses.
Doctor and author David Healy is one of the most outspoken critics of antidepressants, especially SSRIs.
Every disease can be oversold. One of the ones that's being oversold at the moment, even though it's a real illness, is bipolar disorder. It's a rare condition. It's become, in the last 10 or 15 years, 5,000 times more common than it was before. Ever since they were introduced first in the late 1950s, it's been recognized back then that antidepressants don't suit all people. If you're on an antidepressant that doesn't suit you, it can make you suicidal, and it can also make you homicidal. This can happen to you even if you're a healthy volunteer taking these pills. It's not something linked to the illness. It's a thing caused by the pill and the fact that the pill is the wrong pill for you. When drugs worked for tuberculosis vanished. When drugs supposedly work for depression or bipolar disorder these days, the illness doesn't vanish. It gets incredibly more common. Where the right kind of treatment can help save a life and save a career and save a marriage, all too often it's a condition that doesn't need treatment, and where treatment can cause you to lose your life and lose your marriage and lose your career.
That's $1 billion industry.
Exactly, and they're not going to give it up easily because there's no medical scientific evidence required to diagnose someone to take a psychiatric drug. So it is the most lucrative, cooperative, collusive effort that there is between allopathic healers and psychiatry.
We've been sold the idea that these things work, that if you put your kids on Ritalin, they'll do better at school. If you're at work and you're taking an antidepressant, you'll do better at work. It seems rational to take them. It's not that we're irrational. We're trying to be rational, and we've been sold a bag of goods.
People think that because it's prescribed by a doctor, it's safe. And it's approved by the FDA, so it's safe. I mean, these are illusory impressions that the public has.
Many of those who are affected aren't taking pills to get high, but to get better, following a doctor's orders and accidentally developing an unshakable addiction.
It's the worst epidemic we face in America today.
Addiction?
Prescription drug addiction. Okay? I mean, we have...
Is it bigger than alcohol?
Way bigger. Every 19 minutes, someone dies in this country of an accidental overdose. Every 19 minutes. That means that you take a couple pills before you go to bed, thinking you're going to get your daughter to school in the morning, and you just don't wake up.
If you get one of these afflictions, you're going to say, I'm going to try that. I think when you create a culture in which the default is the pill and not other things that might make you better, then you end up with addiction. The origin of the word for pharmaceutical is pharmakon, Pharmakon. It's Greek, and it has two meanings. One meaning is cure, and the other meaning is poison. It's a very insightful word, because if you think about it, almost all medicine is poison. It's something that's foreign to our body that one part of our body or another is going to have to react to as like an invading, force. Now, sometimes it reacts a good way, and we get better. But there's always a price for the poison, is what I like to say.
Be their own health advocate. If you don't speak up for you, no one is going to speak up for you.
This is Kat Taylor. She's a child psychologist specializing in families dealing with addiction.
Why do you think addiction is such a big problem in America?
Our culture trains us to avoid bad things. And I work with a lot of children, and I ask them to identify a time they felt sad. And I have a lot of children that will not identify a time they feel sad, because we're not supposed to be sad. We get these messages in our media and in our culture that everything's supposed to be great. Anybody could just go to Facebook, right? Everything looks wonderful on Facebook, right? We're all launching our own little campaigns about how great our lives are, and we want to have the white picket fence, and we want to have that American dream, and it's just going to be, everything's going to be great. So this abject denial of anything negative leads us to feel very uncomfortable.
But a lot of times those feelings are normal.
Negative feelings are normal. Sad feelings are normal. It's part of life. We have to accept it.
We live in a quick-fix consumer culture where the good life is just a purchase away. Whether it's a new car, a new iPhone, or a new pill, all of your problems can be solved with this amazing new product. And that is something that Big Pharma has exploited incredibly well, and to disastrous effect. We are constantly bombarded by images of unattainable lifestyles inhabited by always smiling people who seem to have no problems. But the real world is full of problems, and we're never told what to do with the emptiness that leaves behind.
I am on a lot of prescription pills, though. Oh, is that a story? No.
it's an addiction.
Is being hooked on video games a medical condition?
Startling new insight into the addictive power of sugary, salty, and fatty foods.
Coffee addiction is real, and Americans drink more coffee than anyone else.
We've been reporting on internet addictions, on a mom who spent 50 hours a week playing online games, and a dad who became obsessed with internet porn sites.
Somewhere along the way, we traded doing the hard thing for doing the easy thing. And it hasn't. We need to examine why we are so quick to eat that cheeseburger, drink that coffee, or take those pills. Do we really need it? Or are we just feeding the addict that hides in us all?